Hello guys, welcome to i-tutor Academy. In today's session, we will start with human resource demand forecasting. There are two approaches to HR demand forecasting, that is quantitative and qualitative. When focusing on human resources needs, forecasting is primarily quantitative in nature and is carried out by highly trained specialists. Quantitative approaches to forecasting can employ statistical analytical models and at a time by simple calculation anticipations future HR requirements. Organizational demands will ultimately determine which technique is to be used. Regardless of the method, forecasting plays a major role in HRP, however small or large the organization is. Quantitative approaches. Quantitative approaches to forecasting involve the use of statistical or mathematical techniques. Trend analysis, modeling, or multiple predictive techniques are some of the quantitative techniques used. Trend analysis. It forecasts employment requirement on the basis of some organizational index and is one of the most commonly used approaches for forecasting HR demand. Following steps indicates the steps of trend analysis. First, select an appropriate business factor. This should be the best available predictor of human resources needs. Frequently, sales or value added, selling price minus cost of material and supplies is used as a predictor in trend analysis. And second is plot a historical trend of the business factor in relation to number of employees. The ratio of employee to the business factor will provide a labor productivity ratio. For example, sales per employee. And third one is compare the productivity ratio for at least the past 5 years. Fourth, calculate the human resource demand by dividing the business factor by the productivity ratio. Finally, project human resource demand out to the target year. And the next is modeling or multiple predictive techniques. Several mathematical models with the aid of computers are also used to forecast HR needs, optimization models, budget and planning analysis, whereas trend analysis relies on a single factor. Example, sales. To predict employment needs, the more advanced method combines several factors such as interest rates, gross national product, disposable income, and sales to predict employment levels, while the cost of developing these forecasting methods used to be quite high. Advances in technology and computer software have made rather sophisticated forecasting more affordable to even small businesses. And next is qualitative approach. In contrast to quantitative approaches, qualitative approaches to forecasting use less statistical tools. Expert forecast and Delphi technique are the most commonly used qualitative techniques. The first one is expert forecast. Expert forecast in this method manages estimate future human resource requirements, their experiences and judgments to good effect. And Delphi technique, it attempt to decrease the subjectivity of forecast by involving a group of pre-selected individual and soliciting and summarizing the judgment. Thus, a group decision making process is invoked, which in return requires a great deal of process orientation to enhance coordination and cooperation for satisfactory forecast. This method works best in situation where dynamic technological changes affect staffing levels. Ideally, HRP should the both quantitative and qualitative approaches while forecasting HR demand. Both the approaches complement each other, thus provide a wholesome forecast. Whatever technique one might utilize, but they need to be selected aptly and done systematically. HR planners many times go further and analyze the demand also on the basis of workforce analysis, workload analysis, and job analysis. Workforce analysis to determine the rate of influx and outflow of employee. It is through this analysis one can calculate the labor turnover rate, absenteeism rate, etc. Qualitative method go a long way in analyzing the internal flow created by promotions, transfer, etc. And next is workload analysis. It calculate the numbers of person required for various jobs with a reference to a planned output. This take into consideration factors such as absenteeism and ideal time, etc. Both quantitative and qualitative techniques are utilized for accurate results. And next is job analysis. Job analysis helps in finding out the abilities or skills required to do the job's efficiently. A detailed study of job is usually required to do the job effectively, and a detailed study of job is usually made to identify the qualification and experience required for them. Job analysis include two things: job description and job specification. Job description, this is a factual statement of the duties and responsibilities of a specific job. It gives an indication of what is to be done, how it is to be done, and why it is to be done. Job specification provides information on the human attributes in terms of education, skills, aptitudes, and experience necessary to perform a job effectively. This you will learn more in the next unit. Okay, and next is human resource supply forecasting. After forecasting the demand of HR, the obvious step is to forecast supply of HR. Once an organization has forecast its future requirements for employees, it then goes on to the next search, that is from where can it fulfill its requirements. It therefore needs to determine if there are sufficient numbers and type of employees and how many are eligible for the requisite positions. Supply analysis thus involves planning for procurement, who, from where, how, and when. It scans the internal and external environment for the best fit candidates for the position in demand. There are normally two sources of supply: internal and external. Internal sources. The most popular approach to be followed by all managers is to look within the organization until and unless the opening is not related to immensely diversified field of which the existing workforce might not possess requisite skills and the cost of training may be working out to be high. It is easier to go in for an internal sources for recruitment, and because it is cost saving in many ways to utilize what is already available to the organization. A profile of employee in terms of age, sex, education, training, experience, job level, past performance, and future potential is continuously maintained for use whenever required. Thus, if the requirements in terms of growth, diversification, internal movement of employees, that is transfer, promotion, retirement, etc., are determined in advance, then the data can be very useful. And internal supply analysis is done with staffing tables and or manning charts, that is are pictorial representation of all organizational jobs along with the numbers of employees currently occupying those jobs and future employment requirement. And Markov analysis, it shows the percentage and actual number of employees who remain in each job from one year to the next, thus keeping track of the pattern of employee movements through various jobs. Thus, this analysis result in a composite matrix of supply. And next is skill inventories, list each employee's education, past work experience, etc. Replacement chart helps to drive the profile of job holders department wise and reveals those who could be used as replacement whenever the need arises. And next is external sources. It is only when the cost of procuring the labor from internal sources is more and also the present staff cannot be spared of the future assignment, the company prefers to the external sources. Therefore, to summarize, the following data should be available for a comprehensive supply forecast. Next is the skill base, potential trainability, and current and potential productivity level of the existing workforce. And the second one, the structure of the existing workforce in terms of age distribution, skills, hours of work, rate of pay, and so on. The possible changes in the productivity, size, and structure of the workforce due to resignation and retirements, promotion and transfer, absenteeism, and other external factors, economic and cultural, which may induce such a changes. And the next is the availability of the relevant skills in the external labor market for present and future use. The HR planner will have to assess and monitor factors such as market value, image preference of the existing labor for the company, motivation of the prospective candidate to join the company. And next is human resource gap analysis. The final stage is to balance out the demand and supply gap. The closer the gap, the better it is for the company when it actually goes into procuring. A comparison chart can be developed to find what is available and to what extent it can fulfill the demand forecast. This exercise helps us have an idea of the quantitative and qualitative gap in the workforce. A reconciliation of demand and supply forecast will give the number of people to be recruited or made redundant as the case may be. In this process, a company always need to keep repeating this step as it operates in a changing environment, and requirement change in product mix, union agreement and competitive action are some of the important things that need special attention. The human resource requirement thus identified are translated into a concrete HR plan backed up by detailed policies and other human resources instruments and strategies. For example, recruitment, selection, training, promotion, retirement, replacement, etc. Okay, so this is about today's session, and human resource plan, operative formulation, etc. We will discuss on next video. So if you have any doubt, you can contact on our contact number. Thank you so much.